Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. First village meeting of 2024. Welcome, everybody. It's out there in La Land or here. First order of business, as usual, is rise and pledge allegiance to our flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Agenda review. Do we have any alterations to our agenda this evening?
We do, we have one, so we can add it to item number 6, budget discussions. So we talked in the past about the KBS audit was a total amount of $37,500. We now require a single audit. The revised estimate is $39,500. So when we get to this, we have a new authorization letter to cover that amount.
Same company.
Same company.
Delbert, right again, sorry. Yes.
I have one thing that I'd like to add to number 8. It's an update on the liens collected for 2023.
Okay. Anybody else?
No, thank you.
Okay, if not, item number 4 is to approve and accept the minutes for, one thing, I'd like to apologize for not being here at the last meeting for 2023, but I had a medical situation with my wife that I couldn't get away from in time to get to the meeting. So I apologize for that, but I'm back. So, next item on the agenda, approve and accept the minutes from our Wednesday that I missed, December 27th, 2023, as presented.
I'll make the motion, we approve them as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded to approve and accept our December 27th, 2023 minutes as presented. Any discussion, changes, corrections? If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, abstentions? If not, it's carried unanimously. Item number 5, approve and accept the village warrants through Thursday, January 4th, 2024. What's your pleasure?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve and accept our village warrants through January 4th, 2024. Any discussion on that?
No, sir.
Do you have a question on that, Chris?
No, I cleared it up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion for the warrants signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, abstentions, that motion is approved unanimously. Item number 6, 2024 budget discussions. And you want the audit up front, take care of that first, or?
Yes.
Okay.
So we just need, I don't know if you call it a modification, but you previously made a motion for me as the village manager and the village president to approve a letter authorizing KBS to do an audit in the amount of $37,500. We're looking for an additional $2,000 to cover the single audit requirement. So probably maybe just a new motion to approve KBS audit authorization in the amount of $39,500.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion, revised motion, a revision to the original motion that has been made and seconded. No discussion, I don't assume.
I would like to, one thing. A lot of businesses practices every few years they change their auditors. How long has it been since we changed our auditors?
So we've had the same firm over 15 years. The problem being is, and more than us are seeing this, there's very few firms. They're about the only one in the state of Vermont that does electric utilities. So,
Just asking.
it's difficult to find audit firms that will audit an electric utility. The reason we need a single audit is once we started booking, of course, the last month of the year just happened. So we're booking those receivables for grant work, and we got an approval for the wastewater plant. It went up to the step that we were able to request some more funding. We went over the single audit threshold. So the threshold for a single audit is 750,000, less than that. And right now, we have federal money that came into the village of over $1 million for last year.
So that's the reason for the second audit,
It's a single audit, so basically they
the
audit
amount-
the federal programs.
because you exceeded the limit.
So,
Okay.
yeah, we got over $750,000 worth of federal money this year.
Which is a good problem to have.
Yes.
It just requires an audit.
Yeah,
And the bulk, about half of what we got was the ARPA funds. And then another good chunk of it was, I just requested $225,000 for the sewer. And then we also got almost $200,000 worth of federal money in through the police department.
that's good. So, that being said, there's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, abstentions, no. Okay, it's carried unanimously. And that's all signed already. So that's set. Now, budget discussion, I'm assuming Lynn's gonna take the,
So the only change that I have made since the last time you saw this was we got the contract from Central Dispatch for our police, or fire dispatching, excuse me. So I had $25,000 in the budget as a placeholder. Their contract came in at $21,546. So that's reflected on page 15. And then, we'll get back to the back page. So that will change the proposed tax rate for the fire department down to 0.0532. And that gives us a total for the village estimated tax rate based on the grand list number that I have of $1.17.3.
Now, the new money for the single audit, is that included in here too?
So I haven't adjusted for that because we're having a single audit, you can sometimes recoup that through some of the grants.
Okay,
So
as long as you're
we
comfortable.
may be able to request some of that, so I didn't adjust for that.
Okay, thank you. If that's in order, I've reviewed the budget with everybody here at the last meeting, and I've done some at home. And thank you for the information about, the tax for childcare. I didn't have to look it up. I didn't have to do it myself. But anyway, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the budget as presented this evening.
One second.
okay, the motion's been made and seconded to approve the proposed, budget for 2024. Any more discussion, questions?
No, thank you.
Nobody back there. Okay, that being said, all those in favor of the motion to approve the budget, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no opposed, so the budget is approved unanimously. Good job, Lynn.
Thank you.
Item number 7, village manager update. Mr. Sheets.
Thank you, Mr. President. So speaking of the budget, myself, Fire Department Chief Dan Chevalier, Police Department Chief Matt Sullivan, and Trustee Adam Paxman attended last week's Select Board meeting to present both the Fire Department budget for this calendar year, next year, I guess this year, and the Police Department contract. Unanimous on behalf of the Select Board to approve a budget for the Fire Department not to exceed $296,000, $296,216. Additionally, They approved unanimously an annual contract for 70 hours of police coverage, representing 1/3 of our operating budget for our police department in the amount of $475,057.
Okay.
So that's reflected in our budget. And I will verify after, now that it's been officially approved, I'll notify Brian on the town side tomorrow so that they can finalize things up.
Good. Do you have questions at the meeting, or?
Nothing really. I mean, we talked about the contract and, you know, we're gonna work through 24 and then depending on how our ballot goes, you know, we'll go from there. So there was really no talk about anything beyond 24.
Yeah, it's the same things that we discussed, right? So we presented the major cost of drivers.
Yep.
The additional dispatch, the fact that about 7 months worth of an additional patrol officer time, administrative assistant time, additional insurance, those types of impacts. It does represent, I think they said, they quoted a 141% increase over the last contract, albeit that was 56 hours a month.
Yeah.
But they recognize, and it was stated by Selectman Joel Clark, that in all likelihood, they were getting a rather good deal and probably should have been paying more all along. I think it's was represented and received as a fair and equitable cost sharing for police services.
Good, that's great. Okay.
We continued Sunday with open house number 11, 12, and 13 here. 10 total attendees over the first 2 sessions, 3 and then 7, and then no one showed up at 6 p.m. And we're gonna have that. We're doing 37 of these. I think it's really important for us to have this dialogue with the citizens that we represent, answering a number of questions. The 6 p.m. represented the second of 13 where nobody attended. So generally they're ranging anywhere from a small count on one hand to 13 to 15 people. The next one for those listening in are this Thursday. Again, we always do 3 in the same day, 10, 2, and 6 p.m. So we'll continue those as we go along. 13 down, quite a few more to go. We're not quite close to halfway just yet.
And I encourage everybody to come out and at least hear what's going on, you know? If you're an uninformed voter, that's not good.
Absolutely. We did post today, we had talked about this, we posted our opening in the water department. For those that are new to this conversation, for a long time, we've had just one person operating water, 2 in wastewater. This is going to allow us to have 2 in water, 2 in wastewater with I'll call it a short-term goal. Within a year, we're going to require, say, 12 to 18 months, operators on both sides to be fully certified by the state of Vermont to be operators for both wastewater and water and to share on call. So much less of a burden. You're on call once a month for a week and 1 weekend a month instead of what they're doing now with vacations. Often it's a little onerous on them. Not to mention the safety aspect for somebody in a water plant working alone. So we're looking forward to that. That's been posted. It's going to be open for 2 full weeks, and then we'll conduct interviews. So let's talk about the EV charging station that's out back. So EV charger, we got 2 stations, 4 ports, level 2s. We had talked about the fact that we had a generous donation from the Paxman family, and we knew that was going to come to an end. I was tasked with researching on your behalf whether or not we could put a credit card charging solution out there, for lack of better words. If you recall, we tried that at one time. It was under former administration, but it failed repeatedly. We pulled them out, and we didn't charge after that because we had a benefactor providing that donation. We have a decision to make. We're in the middle. I don't have a quote for you. I thought I would by now. We, effective January 1st, shut off access until we have a decision from you. So here's the options. We can either turn it back on, it's literally the flip of a breaker switch. If we do that, we have no mechanism right now for anybody to swipe and charge. So all costs will be borne by the Village of Swanton for the foreseeable future. We're going to get a quote to get new upgraded card readers delivered to us to start charging. The fear is that that cost might outweigh the cost of us actually meeting the burden of paying monthly. The long-term solution, 1 year away, is to wait, either pay on our own, not pay, or put in the credit card solution. But long-term, we know we want to upgrade to a level 3 charger through grant funding, so that maybe 5% of that cost is on us. And then that solution's there for long-term. There'll be another one downtown at 74 Merchants Row. That's a year away. In all likelihood, a year away. And when we say a year, let's face it, in all likelihood, add 6 months, it could be 18 months.
Yep.
So we need some direction from the trustees on what you would like us to do. Again, the options are keep it unplugged and don't offer those services. There are people that have come to rely on that here. I checked out front, as far as we know, only one person has called in to inquire as to why we no longer offer this service. And we've been offering it essentially, whether it's paid for by the village or the Paxman family, we've been offering it for quite some time, free of charge.
Do we know how much
Yeah,
you guys have been paying?
yeah, how much,
It
how
ranges.
much money you need?
Well,
I'd say it ranged from $60 a month to $250 a month.
yeah, it's a wide range.
50 to 100?
No, to
To
250.
250.
I would say we've capped at 300 before. And again, we'll have the quote probably in time for next meeting. Maybe even if it's guidance for the next 2 weeks or until we get to our next meeting, that'll have a quote. The fear is if they say to us, it's $10,000 for us to send you stuff at our expense to get swipe service for a year, when we're gonna replace it and upgrade it, that cost benefit analysis, that math doesn't add up. It's more beneficial if we wanna keep the service for the village to eat the cost. And the other alternative is to suspend the service completely until we go to level 3.
Is there a fund in the electric department that might help?
That parking lot's owned by the general fund.
Right.
Okay.
This isn't an electric department, it's a
Right.
general fund question.
Yep.
Okay. Now, are the chargers something that, well, no, I guess they could be. Never mind.
If we were to, on a short-term basis, not charge, from an accounting standpoint, do you even have to show that as non-income?
No, we can't provide that electricity at no charge.
Right.
So if we turn those back on,
You pay for it.
the village is gonna be paying for it, like,
I was gonna say, I mean, if we gotta pay for our own streetlights, I would think we gotta pay for.
yeah.
We certainly do. Right.
So it's a matter of, do you want the village to pay for it? Or do we not have them turned on right now until we get the grant funding for level 3 or pay for upgraded card readers? We've had them in there we bought them on a grant, been a while,
Yeah.
about 5 years,
I think 2017.
2017,
I think 2017 is what I see for
so
information.
5 to 6 years.
7, 8.
Yeah, sounds right.
Are the people that are charging, are they our regular customers?
I have no idea.
You don't know.
There's no way of knowing.
There's no way of knowing unless you
Unless they tell you.
just have a sign-up sheet. I might recommend running it through the end of this month to give us an opportunity to figure out what we want to do.
When you say running it, turn it back on?
Turning it back on through the end of the month. It gives us a couple of weeks to figure out, what the price is gonna be, what our options are. And then at the first February meeting, we make a decision somehow as to what the next step is.
I was suggesting something similar. Just leave it on until the next meeting, until you have information. I don't wanna leave somebody out in the cold in January for 200 hours, or maybe 100, I don't know.
You want another opinion?
I want all opinions, and then I would like a motion.
I'd propose, that, like Adam says, leave it on till the end of the month, but put something out there saying, at the end of January, service will cease to exist until we upgrade to level 3, which we're in the process of doing. That's,
Unless,
I
of
can't
course,
see
we
one-
get a surprise thing from this company that says, we're gonna ship you all the credit card swipe stuff, and it's gonna be
yeah, right.
negligible. I can't imagine that, but
Right.
I guess it's an outside possibility.
And chances are the people that are using that aren't Swanton Village residents anyway.
You know, one person.
But that's just a what if, but I can't, that's just my opinion.
It's a good one. It's a good opinion.
And that would,
Very simple.
that would tell people that we're striving to upgrade, we're not leaving them, out in the cold, so to say. But it would give them time to plan ahead for a different location to charge. That wouldn't be shutting it off, say it's done today, you're not gonna have it anymore. We give them till the end of the month, to make other arrangements.
So you can make a little sign, put it out there.
We can be as flexible and accommodating as you would like us to be.
Yeah, I would put up a sign and just say, you know, effective February 1st, you know, charges will go down unless, or something to that effect, you know.
So a motion, I think, authorizing the Village of Swanton to pay all expenses incurred at the charger at our park and ride up to February 1st, 2024. Then dependent upon the cost incurred to get a charging solution, I mean, then how do we wanna word the rest of that? Because there's probably multiple possibilities depending on what that fee is. Because in theory, right, it would be nice. It would be nice to have that charging, the card swipe there and functioning so we don't shut it off for folks, while at the same time not incurring cost on their behalf.
So we have to word the warning just right, you're saying.
Yeah, I don't really know how to word that
You
one.
could just say after reviewing the quote that you get from the card readers.
Maybe in fine print if you'd like to make a donation.
I think
We
we're
could leave a little box with a lock
educating the
on it.
folks here. We put something on our Facebook where we
Yeah.
can actually type a paragraph.
Yeah.
And then, you know, at the next meeting or the first meeting in February, we revisit this. I'll have more information. We'll do a cost benefit analysis, and then you can make an informed decision.
Yeah. Okay. I can go for that.
I'll make that motion.
One other thing to think about is people who are transitioning, Montreal, going to Boston or whatever, they're gonna want a level 3.
They are.
So we ought to be thinking about a level 3 and anticipating a charging rate appropriate for that at all of our stations.
Yeah, we're in the queue. We're in the queue through Heidi's work with multiple prong approach to get level 3 chargers, both at 74 Merchants Row and right up here. Oh, I can't call him, sorry. The chair, yeah. I'm used to the meetings.
I just have a question. Are the EV stations advertised on the State of Vermont website or on the state map?
I think so, yeah.
They are, yes.
They are.
They are.
It's a good point. We'd have to make
And that
updates
could be
there as
why
well.
the cost went up too.
People know.
Yeah. Because probably about a year, it was probably October, November of last year when the bills probably started becoming 3 figures. So, you know, and there were a lot of people that stopped in, and, I mean, I had a few people leaving church one night that came over and said, thank you so much for what you're doing, you know? So, they noticed. They noticed, and they were appreciative, you know, it's, like I said, I needed a 15-minute charge, and it didn't cost me anything, and, you know, I thank you for that. So, you know, doing a good deed. That's what we need around this world, good deeds.
For sure.
So, the motion is, leave it on till 1st of February, and further discussion will be made in February at our meeting to maybe continue it with a credit card app on it.
Yeah, I'll know exactly what the cost is, like to the penny at that point.
Okay. So that's basically the motion.
Yes, sir.
Second.
I'll second.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, so we will do it.
Speaking of 74 Merchants Row, you'll recall 2 weeks ago I talked about the fact that we got a complaint on the condition of handicap accessibility, in particular on the left side of Merchants Row, near the parking lot. So we have since then installed the street light to light our parking lot. And we went down today and we actually have now ordered 6 angled railings that will go on the inside of 2 openings. We'll remove those old and rough condition banisters, if you call them that, wrought iron, one that's leaning over. Those will be removed. So these railings should come in around the 20th of this month, and within 2 weeks after that, we should install. Myself and Dan Chevalier, Maintenance, and Dean Ryan from Public Works went down at different times. I went down today and walked that side of the businesses to inform them of what we're trying to do. I think very appreciative. I still think that we need to, and we are continuing to consider, at least temporarily, while researching the ramp. So we're putting prices right now. Dan Chevalier is pricing out ramps that corrugated but see-through, so the snow and ice kind of goes through them, so it's a little bit safer for accessibility. We'll continue to research that and then work with Renee Chaffee, the property owner, for cost sharing. But I still think we probably, in the short term, even though last time you recall Renee preferred the handicap parking spot to be in the dirt, it's less than viable, I think, until we get it paved. We want to strongly consider, give me 2 to 4 weeks to get back to you, putting a handicapped sign in on that far left parking spot, right in front of the hair place. Spoke to the property owners, the business owners, supported. And I thought it would be detrimental maybe to vision, nutrition, and we spoke to the owner today and she thought it was a good idea to have a handicapped parking spot there. So more to follow on that, but making progress. And again, we gotta, in my opinion, we have to do everything we can to ensure accessibility on that side of Merchants Road.
What type of railings you
I'm glad you asked. They are a Promenade 4-foot handrail kit, black in color, that wrap around. And then,
Steel?
Sure, yes. Painted black, they
Aluminum.
come like that, aluminum. We're getting all 6. Of course, we'll do an in-kind tracking of our time and maintenance, and hopefully that will be an in-kind match down the road for some of the things that we're doing. It's roughly $1,000 for the 6 rails, maximum price.
Comes out of the street budget?
It does, and this is in the category of we can't not do this for the safety of folks that are trying to get up and down those stairs. And I think, you know, this cost is on us as a village. We'll do the shared cost discussion with the accessory, the ramp.
Sounds
Any questions in reference to that?
Sure.
Okay. We're preparing, you know, the whole crew was out, Public Works was out in force a couple times yesterday. The bigger concern for both Public Works and the electric department is coming this Tuesday and Wednesday for a storm. It looks like the real deal because of the mix of heavy wetness and the turning to high temperatures, but more significantly for electric company, the wind. So you're seeing other power companies in the spine of the Green Mountain staging like they normally do. So at the very least, if we're, knock on wood, not hit like we've been really lucky lately, we'll be ready for mutual aid if the need arises. So, but it looks like for a wind event, the real deal coming our way. Even here, 50, 55, 60 miles an hour. Speaking of wind, I didn't plan that. So you recall the discussion that company P.E.G Wind was looking at siting a wind turbine at wastewater to power all wastewater plant load needs. And if you haven't been following this, P.E.G Wind is a subsidized company that produces smaller level wind turbines that are about the third of the size of the big ones that you see in New York. So we haven't gotten to the point of balloon testing, but we don't believe you would even see it from the road going past the water plant. In a conference call with VEPSA, we believe that a cost-benefit analysis indicates that this is not something for us as a direct customer. What we think it might be is working with VEPSA simply as a good partner and still site the wind turbine there, but not directly use the power for distribution for us. Have VEPSA take care of what they want to do with it in terms of power. What we would benefit from is Tier 2 rec. Although we don't need Tier 2, but it would benefit all of VEPSA, and we're a key partner in VEPSA. So more to follow. It does not make financial sense for us. It was a 25-year proposed contract with a 2% escalator. Starting at about 9.5 cents a kilowatt hour, the math quickly becomes where that's not cost effective for us, being the third lowest kilowatt hour in the state of Vermont. But I think it is beneficial to be a partner, at least in discussion with VEPSA about it perhaps remaining on that site. But again, very early, more to follow. I guess I'm looking for feelings on that, some feedback. That's the.
I think it's a goodwill gesture for the state and for the country, actually, when you do this sort of thing. The power will pull somewhere.
Yeah, that's what
And
they thought.
It's certainly renewable.
Yes.
Now, my question is, can we claim the credits?
We can't, but we collectively, remember, any Tier 2 we don't need because we're 100% renewable. There's all kinds of legislative language that threatens that.
Yeah.
And so the answer is perhaps someday we'll need those credits. But we're part of VEPSA, so remember like the Highgate Elementary heat pump example. We took full credit for that, but there's times when we don't meet Tier 3 requirements, but some other VEPSA partners do, and they share it with us.
That's
It's
good.
simply, it's reciprocity at its best.
Economy of size.
Yeah.
I think I certainly would support it from the renewable position at least.
Yeah, it's an exciting project. It's great technology. It's worth at least, again, we're so in the infancy here. We're not gonna see it built this year.
Is VEPSA even considering where we take to permit a project like that? Bordering the game refuge down in West Swanton and the flight path of the birds through there?
The answer is no. They have not gotten to that part.
It'd be an interesting discussion. Would they feel that VEPSA would have to be doing it for us anyhow?
Yes.
Agreed.
Right. Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, and that's the beauty of that. All permitting, all exploration, all costs are not going to be directly,
Right.
even indirectly, borne by us.
Right.
Would there be a land purchase for the spot?
There would be a lease.
Police, okay.
Yeah, so we would actually get money from this.
Fair enough.
Small, but money. Yeah. So more to follow. So what I'm hearing is at least continue with the exploration and then
Absolutely.
the partnership.
Yep.
Yes.
As long as we don't have to get involved in the permit process, is what I'm concerned about.
Yes, that's fair.
I do understand.
Okay, understood. We've got a quick little handout here. You knew it was a good hydro year despite having some difficulties with what can only be described as aging units. Unit 1, Unit 2 are old and they're tired. And you know they're still down and we're still working on getting estimates to fix those. We were 1.4, almost 1.5 million kilowatts ahead of last year in net generation,
All right.
despite some difficulties with a little bit of Unit 3 and Unit 1 and 2 being down. So when it rains, that's a good thing. That allows us again to produce about 80% of all power demands in our community and put back on the grid and actually in some cases generate income for the hydro facility, for us.
And 23 began the new process of producing power with the new procedures and things like that.
They, with the help of VEPSA, now for quite a while, have really gotten down the science of
Yep.
maximizing every bit of water that's coming through. Yes, that's fair. That's very fair to say.
Yep.
Any questions on net generation?
Plus 1.5, and you only got 4 positive months, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, those months, especially like, you know, that June, July, August with all the rainfall. And
Yeah.
we're off to a pretty decent start right now.
Yep. It's awesome.
Yes.
Kudos to them.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and that is all I have for that update. For my updates.
Thank you, Bill. Any other questions for the village manager? Next item, number 8, any other necessary business? And I understand Diane has some necessary business. She can start off.
So, last year, when we started collecting data on who was impacted the most financially with the liens that we place. And so I figured 2023 was done, I would just do a quick update on that. It was actually a pretty good year. 2022, I think we collected $39,000 in liens. Last year, we collected $59,788. So out of the electric liens, it does look like landlords paid the majority. I had 58 electric liens paid, and I gathered information whether it's paid by the tenants, homeowners, grants, community action, different things like that. A lot of them were paid by banks, financial institutions, and closings, and landlords. The water, sewer, and electric liens are just placed on a homeowner, there's not a tenant involved. We collected 24 of those, totaling $28,000. And then water and sewer liens, we collected 6, just over $4,200. So all 3 categories of my liens, almost $60,000, which are rates that we wouldn't ask to write off and affect all our ratepayers.
Yep.
So the process does work.
Sounds like it.
It's, you know,
Yeah.
we didn't make any friends doing it, but it really does help keep the
I
rates
can imagine.
stable.
Yeah. Well, nice work.
And, yeah,
The way it was supposed to work.
Yeah.
So, do you know how much we didn't collect? How much is still out there?
no, but I will get that information, because, yeah.
Well, because I'm working on closing out the year, so I always have to put in an allowance for uncollectible accounts. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the dollar amounts, but each electric water sewer, I reduced the amount from the prior year that we had. So our arrears are definitely going down. And the aging, you know, the stuff that's that, 30 days, 60 days out to the 180, that's gone down significantly. But we're past COVID, where we had a lot of, our hands were tied that we couldn't disconnect. You know, we had programs out there that were paying some of this stuff, but we had a lot behind the eight ball. So we've kind of played catch up and gotten people back on track since the COVID years. So it's helping. A mild winter will help us keep up too, because we can disconnect through the winter as long as the temperatures stay warm enough. You know, we've got a threshold that we can't, like once it goes below a certain threshold, we can't disconnect.
So it's working.
It is working.
Good.
Okay, congrats.
So, okay, thanks, Diane.
You're welcome.
Any other necessary business?
Just one, and I'll put my Chamber of Commerce hat on. We're gonna have the Citizen of the Year Award coming up, and we'd like permission to announce it at the informational meeting at the end of February,
Okay.
so.
Our information.
And, yes. Yeah, we've done it in the past, probably 4 or 5 years, 3-4 years ago.
Oh.
So I think it's just a nice way of doing it, and, you know, and it's on camera.
Yeah.
That annual information meeting, by the way, is February 26th. And I assume it's gonna be at 7 o'clock here?
Yes, well, so we talked with, are we doing that with the town?
We are,
Yes.
yes,
That Monday?
correct.
Yep.
Joint informational meeting, just like last year,
Yep.
here in this room, both governance structures.
Okay.
Been many years that way.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all I had.
Chris?
Well, I thought the guys did a good job with the snowstorm. At least they were great on our street, the guys are doing a good job. It looks like we're also picking up Christmas trees, is that true?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's another nicety that other communities aren't doing. And I wondered if we had, from my notes, if there was any more information on the Historical Society purchasing the building downtown.
Nothing more, they did an appearance obviously here, they did the same appearance at the select board announcing the fact that it's an initiative. There was a nice article by Josh Ellerbrock in the Messenger about the fact that they're soliciting funds. There's been discussions on Facebook, but I don't think there's been anything more than that.
Okay, just, that would be very nice,
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
that's all, thank you.
I talked to Brian briefly today, and the town crew is helping the Historical Society move the stuff out of the basement, so they could do whatever they gotta do to
Yep.
rectify the water seepage.
Right.
So I think the basement is cleaned out of the Historical Society stuff. So,
That's news.
okay, anything else?
I just want to give a reminder, we're not going to meet on January 22nd, which would be our normal meeting. We will meet on Monday, January 29th, to approve our warning, to be within those
Okay.
perimeters that I need.
Okay, so, if there's no other necessary business, I'd like a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel and real estate.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded to go into executive session.
Wait, you have
Oh, sorry.
I was waiting for
Public
public
comment.
comment, sorry about that.
I
Okay.
didn't put it on, I forgot.
That's right. Go ahead.
I would just like to suggest or request that it be considered that property taxes go to a quarterly basis. It wouldn't affect the people that have their taxes included in their mortgage, and it would certainly benefit people that are on fixed income. And the village also benefits because they'd be collecting interest on those monies.
I'd have to pass that off to Lynn, I guess. I don't know.
So right off the bat, my concern is we're a calendar year, and we're a calendar year because of our electric department. we don't get our grand list until August. Taxes are due October for the year we're in. If we go to a quarterly basis, we're not gonna have any way,
The estimated taxes, right?
we aren't gonna be able to bill the taxes, cause you aren't gonna be able to set a rate. So if we went quarterly, then we would be doing truly maybe only 1/4 of the year that we're in the process of, and that it would lag. And that isn't gonna function, like cash flow wise would be horrid.
But
We do-
anyone can pay prepaid
Right,
taxes.
we do have people that pay their taxes throughout the year.
Yeah,
I pay it well, last year is a perfect example. I paid what I thought were gonna be my taxes for the year. I had increased what I had paid the previous year,
Mm-hmm.
and I still came up considerably short. I've lived in other communities where they do a quarterly basis, so what's,
Those communities are probably fiscal year, so their year goes from July 1 to June 30th. So when they set their tax rate in July, it's for the fiscal year that they're in, or going into. So they're collecting throughout their fiscal year, so by the time June 30th rolls around, they've collected that full year. We're a calendar year because our electric department dictates we have to be a calendar year.
so it's all the electric company's fault.
So the electric department, the state of Vermont requires us to be a calendar year, for a lot of the reporting that we do. And so that's why us and I would say all but 2 electric utilities that I'm aware of are calendar basis.
Thank you, I was not aware of that information.
But we do have,
yes, go ahead.
not a lot, but we do have a few customers that like to pay
They pay up,
every so often, and they will pay throughout the year.
we
Yes,
carry
but
the credit on their
then it's
account.
like taxes go up and we're not prepared for it. And I'm thinking also of the potential of the new building. You know, I mean, that's just a killer for people on fixed income. And I'd like, you know, I don't know if it can be done, but I'd rather see it done as a local income tax, because it's not fair to single households.
Right. But we, like Diane says, we had tried to work with people that can't afford it all at once, so.
A lot
set
of
up a
customers
pay-
come in and pay.
Yeah, but I think she's talking about
The bond,
the bond,
Right.
instead of setting it on
property tax, do it
on your
an
property
income
value,
tax.
it's on your income.
Oh.
And I think that would take a state change.
I think it would have to be cleared by the state, and I
Yeah.
don't know of anybody that does it.
No.
She's suggesting an income tax.
Right. That's a research project, I have no
I
idea.
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that,
Lynn, the tax rate is set in August, correct?
Right,
Or end
like
of July?
what you guys just saw now is an estimate,
It's an estimate.
because the grand list that I have
Right,
is from April of 2023.
right.
um,
And you get that from the
they-
town,
In July,
In
they send
July.
it to Diane,
August.
July, August. And then you guys set your tax rate as soon as Diane goes through the grand list to make sure it's only village properties, because we've had issues in the past where they've included some town properties, or they've forgotten some village properties. And so she goes through and makes sure that it's accurate, and then we come to you guys with a proposed rate. And that doesn't happen, the bills don't usually go out until August, sometimes late August.
so is it possible to say that town is part of the issue? That we couldn't do quarterly taxes?
Well, they can't get us the grand
Listers.
list the grand list is set as of April 1, but once they do their grand list, then they need to go through any grievances
Yeah.
or like new properties they have to go out and assess if somebody built a home or tore down a place, or, you know, they've got all those adjustments that need to be made. So that's why it isn't until July at the earliest that the ladies up front get the grand list.
Process, yeah.
And that's not unique to here, like other communities, that's kind of the same all grand lists in Vermont are set as of April 1, and then there's
Right.
the whole process. So your towns, if you read minutes, most towns are setting their tax rate anywhere from like June to August, you know? So it's about what we're doing too.
I know when I lived in St. Albans City, we paid quarterly taxes, we got a
Their,
quarterly tax.
their
bill.
fiscal year.
Yep.
Yeah. Different bookkeeping system. Okay.
Thank you.
I'll do some cursory research with Vermont League of Cities and Towns on whether, how we would even determine that process for a local option tax or income tax.
It's on W-2s, and that's why I asked, you know?
Gotcha.
There's always the federal, state, and then at the bottom's local.
Gotcha.
It's a good question, but I'm not sure what a good answer would be for it, so.
It seems more fair,
More people in the pool.
that's for sure.
Yeah.
Be a lot more
More
people
people.
paying taxes. Really?
Okay. Any more before we go into executive session?
I'm good, thank you.
Thanks, Kerry. So we have a motion and a second, right?
Yeah,
I
we
motion
did.
executive session. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. We are in executive session.